We are live. Welcome to the Money GPS Live. Thank you all for coming in today. I got my invisibility cloak on. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I got to set up everything on my end over here. Bear with me. Thank you all. We got people in the house already. Good stuff. 27 people in the house. Thank you all for being here today. All right, I'm gonna set up my Instagram and my TikTok and everything over here. Today we're gonna be talking about the Federal Reserve. Obviously, biggest news, probably the most important topic we could be talking about, and new information coming out every single day. So I think it is important. All right. Setting everything up. I don't have a team. It's all me. So got to do all this stuff. Can't be 19 people, only 9 likes. Yes, 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 that is right. Thank you guys for being here on Instagram. Welcome in, welcome in. Trying to do these lives Friday, Saturday, Sunday if I can. It's definitely more sustainable than the everyday. In the meantime, I've been working on these new PDFs. I've been trying to create the videos so that you get the news, you get this like strategies, tips, action steps, all these different things. So these things are going to, the videos in general are going to change. How are you, Steve? Got people coming in. All right, we got 5 platforms going at once. A lot to cover, obviously. I wanted to change my background to the Federal Reserve. I think that would be nice. Instagram doesn't get any fancy backgrounds, but, what can you do? Let me see if I could quickly change that. I think that is definitely something that we need to have today. All right. Let's do it. So I hope everybody is well. I hope that you've seen my video that I did today, specifically on the Federal Reserve. And the funny part about all of that was that, I'd been talking about this for quite some time, and now you're seeing a lot of the activity coming through. Oh no, what is the Federal Reserve going to do? But if you were a viewer on this channel, you knew exactly what was going on, not because of me necessarily, but just because, it's been front and center. It's been, like, as far as I'm concerned, that's been by far the most important thing, and there's no doubt about that, in my opinion, anyway. All right, now let me see if I can get this to come up. Green screen. There we go. All right. All right, all right, there we are. Live. Oh, wow, look at that. I'm disappearing. This is funny. It's just a head. I'm a floating head now. I'm gonna get some complaints. All right. Hello, 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 everybody on Instagram. We got people joining in. Thank you for being here for my invisibility cloak, if you can see that. Maybe I should change my shirt. This is getting awkward. All right, good stuff. All right. I wonder if I could change that. That's annoying me. Ah, there we go. How's that? Bit better. Bit better. Good stuff. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So what I got to make sure to do, I had a few complaints actually from people that said that, not much activity is happening at the, when the video ends or when the video starts, this is all the thing. This is what happens. It's live. I got to do 5 platforms at once. I got to get everyone going. I got to make all this happen. So what I'm doing right now is unlist the live replay once the stream ends. I just selected that. So I hope that this won't cause any problems for people, because they got very upset. I had a few people, Dan, how's it going? I got a few people that were very upset at me saying that, there's not enough content in these. I am here to respond to your questions. I take your questions, I answer them. You do not find any other YouTuber that does this on this level. I am here for you, and I want to share information specifically about the Federal Reserve and what's going on. This connects in with the Bank of Canada. This connects in with Australia, all around the world. 24 rate increases this year alone, by my count at least. I will bring you a new count as soon as I can. But we're talking about central banks going, and they're doing things that they weren't doing in 2020. Let me tell you, it's a complete opposite. Now, globally, could be a different story than the US, for sure, no doubt. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Kaplan must have put a thumbs down. Do I have thumbs down already? Oh my goodness. No worries. All right. So definitely give it a thumbs up, guys. If you're here, that signals to the algorithm that this is a good video, and then we'll be more likely to show this to other people out there. Definitely. Yeah, legalization of crypto in El Salvador. Well, apparently they bought 300 Bitcoins, but then the price, so initially it went up a bit, but then it got slammed down after. I always said that I thought if a country buys it, it's going to be like a small country at first, and that will kind of be the beta test. So I don't have any information yet on that, but I would say that, let's keep our eyes open. It's still too small. It's still sort of, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference right now, but what it tells me is they're kind of going away from the US dollar regardless. And I'm being asked, what trends am I noticing? I mean, there's all kinds of trends. I think the most important trend right now is the trend of increasing rates and of tapering balance sheets globally by the central banks. And that is, in my opinion, the most important. Hit the like button. Yes, yes, yes. All right. See what we got. So obviously, that's the primary topic of today. But you're willing to, you're welcome to ask anything you desire, whether it's about preparedness, whether it's about the stock market, economy, and so on. I think a lot of people right now are not at their best. So you've got a group of people that is business as usual, no worries, everything's all good. They're working, they're employed, their 401ks, their retirement accounts are doing better than ever. But then you've got millions of people who are worse off than they've ever been. And why? Because the debt is increasing, the food prices are increasing, energy prices are increasing, gas is increasing, like everything's increasing, and yet they're in a very tough state. So that's just the way it is. A whole bunch of people today are saying, why work? Because the government's going to give me the money. And so there's a lot of people that have been relying on the unemployment that has actually, they've been weaning people off of it now for a while. But I think it's going to put a serious dent into the economy as the stimulus wears off entirely. Because there's all different types of programs. There's the child tax credit, and there's the straight up, pandemic emergency assistance and this and that. So I think that as those all start to wear down, then you got a serious problem. Adam, absolutely. Yeah. The viewers, in terms of the viewers to look at, no doubt about it, what the central banks are doing. It's the actual most, like by far most important thing. Thank you. Thank you. They don't. No worries about the people. Look, we can only do what we can here, and I appreciate everybody being here today. I appreciate all the thumbs up and the support and everything that everybody is doing here, because it's helping me. It's encouraging me, because it's not there's a lot of discouragement. I can tell you that much. But as long as we power through this, we're going to be able to get to the truth. That's the definite thing. Okay. The sun having massive flares that could take out the internet. My question is, what do you think the financial world will look like after a prolonged internet outage? All right, Steve. So yeah, I heard about this as well, and we've been hearing about it a lot, to be honest, over the last several years. But to respond to your question of what the financial world is going to look like, if the internet is out, the financial system is down, straight up. It's down. Okay, so this right here is a big concern. But how long could it really be out for without people starting to be, cannibals and things? Like, it's just going to be crazy almost instantly. Like, you have a power outage in certain areas. You've seen it, extended power outage. What happens right away? Within 24 hours, looting begins. Store shelves are completely empty. Like, it's going to be pandemonium. And if you can't necessarily go to the next town over to get what you need, and everybody's dealing with the same kind of thing, you're going to have people that are, who, it's gonna be very bad. I mean, I don't want to. It's gonna be very bad. And that's part of the reason why I've been working on this PDF here, 5 tips to be more self-sufficient. And I'm hoping that if I can interject that kind of information into the rest of the stuff I've got going, I think it'll help out a bunch of people. Nothing groundbreaking in there, and all those PDFs that I will be sharing, but certainly I believe it's going to. I believe over time it'll make a difference. Can you do a video on buying locally, statewide, made in the USA, etc., and its impact on the economy? I definitely will do a video about it. I'll tell you right now, trying to buy locally is becoming increasingly difficult. Even when you think that your product is made locally, oftentimes it is just made in China, let's be honest. And they just piece it together, or let's say 9 out of the 10 components come from China or maybe Taiwan or whatever. And then they add one additional part, they put it in a box, in a location like Dubai, and then it comes across, and then it comes to the US, and then, it's all nonsense. Most of the stuff is just not made. It's not manufactured anymore there. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I'll try to like, for example, if you want products made, if you're a consumer, or you're trying to be sort of a distributor, you can find products to distribute locally. It is possible, but a lot of the products, the vast majority of products are not. They're made overseas. They're made in China. They're made in other places. I came for the truth. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. Just reading through your comments over here. You keep buffering because you say the truth. Is there a problem? Do you guys see an issue with the... there is a choppiness in my camera. That's just my camera. My camera is just not... Either the camera, or I've got it hooked up into this Elgato, some USB thing. That could be the problem. But anyway, who knows? So let me know. Yeah, so if Trudeau is gone, will it be any better? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe a little bit, but probably not. Yeah. Thank you very much. Always waiting for the notification. Yeah, I'm glad you get the notifications, because I hear from people every day they do not get my notifications. Timothy, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate that. If you have any questions to ask, please let me know. Drop them here. I'll definitely reply. I thank you. Cheers. Okay, I see you guys are saying there's no buffering. Okay, good. Thank you. Sometimes it happens, I expect J-Pow to pop up behind the GPS. Yeah, that'll be funny. I should put his head up in the building back here. Today we're talking about, like, what I see with the Federal Reserve right now, I mean, it's pretty obvious. We need to watch the amount of money that they're printing. That's clear. We need to watch what they say, because this is the way that they push out the message. There's something called forward guidance. Okay, forward guidance is actually extremely important. It's actually, it doesn't do any, like, it's nothing. It's just talking. Forward guidance means saying what they're going to do, or what they're not going to do. But essentially, it gives the market a little bit to hang on, because the market prices in something even before it happens. But you look at what they are saying through their, like, for example, you had Kaplan saying a few things, Rosengren saying a few things. You had all the different Fed presidents, vice this, vice that, and all these different people saying their thing or two. And that obviously affects the markets, because, hey, wait a minute, if Kaplan's saying it and if Rosengren is saying it, well, then maybe it's going to affect the markets a little bit, and then that starts to reverberate through the institutional investors. You got to understand, if you get your information from Reddit, you have a very limited window as to what's actually going on. That's fine. You got to do what you think is right. But I'm just saying the way it works. So it moves from the Federal Reserve and from the top down organizations, top level, and then it moves to the institutional investors. Okay, so those institutional investors, we're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. They are where all the markets are being moved. The algorithms trade on information. I was reading about how Elon Musk put a tweet out, I think it was yesterday, and it said something like, we got to be super hardcore with making those deliveries on time for the next quarter or something. And the algorithms read it wrong, and then the stock either went up or down as a result of it. Like, the algorithms are really screwed up, and this is going to present a problem. This is what we're all relying on, like a bunch of computer programs created by some people who don't know anything about what's going on. They're just being told, they get some information, this is what I want, this, and they program these computers. And that is by far and large the vast majority of all trades happening. It's done by computers, and in an instant, everything can pop. All right. Anthony, thank you for the support. That's the volatility spike. Is just the beginning. Fear is coming next. The plunge protection team has taken a knee. GPS for president. We got a little bit of a volatility spike. We'll see. This week has been a bad week for stocks. I think it's like 5 days in a row down or something like this. What is it? But either way, it's looking a little weak. The market needs to correct. It desperately needs to come down by at least 20% just to have some breathing room. I mean, it has been riding on the top of, way, way beyond any stat. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So even if you thought that it deserved to be where it is, anywhere near where it is, it needs a good 20%, just under that 20% point correction, before it gets into that bear market. That's what it needs to happen, really, for the true health of that bull market. Because if not, then you're looking at, okay, maybe it's not a 20% or less, it's going to be 20% or greater, maybe it's 25, maybe it's 30, and so on. No, you don't want that if you're holding on to stocks, if you're relying on them to keep going up. Awesome. Thank you for the support. Hey, wait a minute. Aren't you on Instagram too? Yes, you are. Thank you very much. All right. Okay. I got my Tesla before that big push, but my friend's Tesla delivery was moved to January. How do you feel about Kaplan? Yeah, so if you're watching right now, I did it like 3 videos in a row. So if you look at the last 3 videos I did on YouTube, you're going to get all that information related to exactly what's going on with Kaplan and Rosengren and all those. Am I intending on becoming a member of the Canadian Parliament? No, I would never become a politician. It's a dirty, dirty game. It's like Lord of the Rings. What is it? Something like, if you wear the ring, then corrupts the power or whatever. No, I don't want anything with that. In fact, I just want to be, on a deserted island somewhere, having coconuts. That sounds good to me. When do we cash in our gold and silver? So I have a different view than most people. So, and by the way, this is not financial advice. So you got to do what you think is right. The appropriate timeline for gold and silver is indefinite. So you save in gold and silver. You save your money, your hard-earned savings in precious metals. You invest in other things, in other assets. You save. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't sell your savings. Now, if you're the type of person, and I know there are many, who has put overwhelmingly, you put your savings into precious metals. You're like 100% or maybe 80% or 50% in precious metals. Then you can, maybe there's a time to reduce the amount that you have. In terms of when, the line that I use all the time, and I think it's pretty simple, is when all else fails, then they turn to gold. So we aren't at that point yet. We're not at that complete failure point. So for the time being, gold is going to stay where it is. It's probably, I haven't looked in the last several days, but it's probably around 1800, as it has been for such a long time. If you're in the US, should you get out now? There are many bad things about the country, I could say that. But if you're in a rural area, you're probably okay. Like many rural areas, they're going to do very well. I just don't like when you start to have serious internal problems, then you have a very good chance of, let's call it a civil problem. Can't say that three-letter word, but you could have battles within the country. It's just, yeah. All right. Look at the price of gold and silver in Venezuela, then you will know. Yes, yes, yes. People did very well. If they had some gold and silver, they were doing very well. By the way, totally off topic, but I saw the movie trailer for The Matrix 4, the new one. And in that trailer, if you remember the original, the red pill and the blue pill, you have Neo. He's popping blue pills like crazy. And it just made me think. It made me think of the way we are today, that we're, like society, being pacified by all of the information we see, and the celebrities and the sports, and even you go down as far as the financial media. They're just like force feeding people. Like, you don't need to know all that stuff. What you need to know is this little bit here. Take this little bit of information, take it like a pacifier, right? Just soothing everybody. And I just thought it was interesting. I don't know what the movie's about necessarily, but remember watching the other ones, and just that concept of the Matrix and the red and the blue pill and things, and the way that people approach their own lives. It really makes you think about it, as they say, like follow the white rabbit. You can think of that, going down the rabbit hole, and how many people have gone down the rabbit hole. I think part of the problem is when people share information with others, or if they see it online and so on, they get information. Let's say there's like 10 levels of truth or something, right? And they're at level 1. And then, you try to show them something that's like level 8. Whoa, they're gonna get spooked. You got to do it one level at a time. If you skip levels, for some people, most people, it's gonna freak them out. You can't do that, and that is in fact the problem. In the movie The Matrix, Neo was ready to accept everything, and even in that case, he didn't exactly adapt to the initial, realization of where he was and all this, but it kind of fits in with what we see today. Government, bread and circus, 100%. Thank you very much for the support. Yes, that's what they give us today. The bread and circus. And people love it. But people really do love it. Like I know so many people that, I could ask who the quarterback is for that team, or who the guy on the hockey team, that he's the third liner. This guy is a backup, hasn't played a game, but they know him. They know what team he came from. They know like all these different statistics. If you would apply those statistics to the financial world, you would be probably pretty wealthy, okay, or at least doing much better than the current situation. But instead, they want that entertainment that, people love to watch whatever it is. Like you got UFC today. Why is it so popular? Or boxing or whatever. It's that old school gladiator type thing where people want to see that battle, to live vicariously through it. And, it's fine. I don't have like whatever people want to do, please, by all means. I think that's great. But we need to understand why certain things are we're allowed to see and allowed to know and allowed to take part in, and other things that we are not. And so once we start digging down in that, to that level, you get a different sense of what's happening. I love people who devote their life to sports and think it's important. Yeah, what I would say is, like, if you love the sports, first of all, you should be playing the sports, not watching the sports on TV. That's just my opinion. Play the sports. That's healthy. That's great. That's awesome. But watching it, if you want to, but it's better to play it. Why not play it? You still, like, if someone's going to watch a game, and I don't know how long the game is, let's say an hour and a half, why don't you just exercise for an hour and a half? You'd be fit. If every time you were watching a game, you're going to play that sport for that period of time, you'd be fit. Thank you, Dominic, for the support. Do you get pretty frustrated by the pace of things, knowing what's potentially around the corner? Yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, you're seeing, like, so I've studied a lot of history. Okay, I've been doing this for a long time, many, many years, and I've looked at all the different events, and you know what happens. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you know what happens. And then you see somebody, it's like, somebody not paying attention, and they're texting on their phone, and then they're going to walk right onto the street or something, and you're looking, no, and you hope that guy sees at the right time before his foot makes it over. I've done this myself many times. I'm watching the guy, oh my goodness, you better, and then, he wakes up from his texting or whatever he was doing, and it's kind of like, so that's just a simple metaphor, but, yeah, absolutely. But I think that people, like, what they need to understand most of all is that the sooner that things correct, the better off it is for them. They think that a correction, a collapse, a crash, this is ultimately bad. Not if you're protected, not if you're doing it right, not if you're planning in advance. Like Sir John Templeton, buy when there's blood in the streets. I mean, like, you've got to be ready for those events. And how do they do that? They're waiting patiently. Look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett bought Geico. Geico was down like something ridiculous, like almost 97%. The guy scooped in and bought Geico at 97% from its peak. And then he just went in crazy on buying it. Now, most people, they would have said, I don't want that stock's ready to go bankrupt. But he was patient, he waited, he had the cash on hand, and he went in and bought it up. Now, is he being told on the back end, yeah, don't worry, he's not going to be bankrupted, we'll make sure it's all good? And especially if a guy like Buffett is putting his money in, I'm sure they're all collectively just, okay, we're good, he's going to bail us out kind of thing. That's a different story. The point I'm trying to make is there's so many levels anyway, but people should just be aware of how things unfold historically. Are there some interesting characters in here? Looking at the comments. Comments. Sports good, yes. Okay. Bring on the gardening. Oh yeah. Been watching a lot more gardening videos. Self-Sufficient Me, if you've ever seen that channel. Good channel. There's Epic Gardening. There's so many out there. Fantastic stuff. My content, I'm sure, is not going to be as good as theirs. But what I want to try specifically with mine, if I can, next spring, is like the step by step to growing your own food in your backyard. Like, I know that's obviously simple, but so what you get is like typically out there's people looking for gardening stuff, okay, which is fine. But what I'm trying to do is take somebody who's interested in the financial aspects and this and that, and explain to them how it's done step by step, how much it costs, all this stuff, and put it together in a playlist, and literally just teaching people, look, this is all it is, and now you're growing the food. And then I could show what it looks like a month after, 3 months after, 6 months after, do like update videos. And this is the whole progress of a raised garden bed from the start to the finish, every single piece being done. That's it. It's not a gardening channel, obviously, but there's certain aspects to this about preparedness and so on that I think people should be aware of. And I think there'll be a lot of value to that. I think so. So that's kind of the plan. Look at this flag that's above my head. Makes it look like alfalfa or something. All right. Aquaponics, yeah. I know a lot of people are into that. Some people say no, some people say yes. Yeah, I did. So I don't know if you were the one who posted today. Somebody posted today in the comment section about that. I've never heard of it previously, but it's interesting. I think it's anything to do with a specific date or a specific number. It usually doesn't work out that way, but there are instances where it's pretty close. Yeah, the evictions, talking about the evictions, no doubt about it. Evictions in the stock market too. We'll see. Everybody in the house, 251 people, give that a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit a thumbs up. All right. I'm trying to do a little bit more creative ways of getting people to do the thumbs up. Because it's so important. People forget or whatever. People don't really see the need, but that is literally the only way for a channel to survive. I know it's crazy that they do that, but that's it. So basically, thumbs up and watch time are the two that are extremely important for a channel. A positive one. A positive one. So if there were to, the easiest way to make things great is to allow competing currencies. If competing currencies were allowed to exist, so you didn't have to get paid, you didn't have to make your money transfers in, let's say, US dollars. Anything you want to use euros, fine, go ahead. You want to use gold, fine, go ahead. Whatever it is, it's now allowed. That right there would be the number one biggest step, because now the market's going to decide. There's going to be some ebbs and flows. There's going to be disruptions and this and that. But all we're doing here is opening up the market, opening it up. Let the free market decide what's best. I think that right there would be the number one factor in the beginning. The main thing plants need is sun, compost, and water. Absolutely. 100%. Off the grid in Texas is my goal. Good stuff, Earl. Good stuff. Get your generator. Yeah. It's funny. I've talked to people who power went out, power goes out, and what happens? People immediately, I need a generator I need a generator. How much does it cost? Okay, it's 10 grand. Yeah, okay, 10 grand. I'm going to buy it. Power comes back on the next day, 2 days, whatever it is. Power comes back on and they forget it. And that's not, you're supposed to have the generator before the event unfolds. You don't get insurance and think to yourself, oh man, I never even used my insurance. This is terrible. What a waste of money. No, you have insurance just in case. It's spending that $10,000 on that generator or whatever kind of generator you're getting to consider the possibility, okay, if something happens, I got this. It's great. If not, great, even better. If you don't use it, it's actually better. But people can't do that. They can't think of that. All right. Okay. Solar is the way. Yeah, I was watching, if you guys ever watch Epic Gardening, his house, he's got something like approximately 15 solar panels, lives in San Diego, obviously a lot of sun. He doesn't pay for energy. So his electricity bill went down to the $10 connection fee and that's it. So that type of stuff, that's fantastic. That's incredible. Providing all of his own energy that way. And he's still connected to the grid. So if he needs the energy, it's there. But he's got that. Is that the be all and is that the best? I don't know. It's better to have more than one layer of protection. But hey, if you invest up front and then you get paid down the road, I think he said something like 5 years or something, and then it'll be paid back. So as long as those last 5 years, he's doing well. There are actually other companies that will come in, and I think it's something like they'll do it for free, but anything excess, then they take as profit, something like this. So there's all kinds of options. We watch the same channels. Yeah, good stuff. I don't watch too much, but when I have my first meal of the day, which is around 11 or 12, then I like to watch something about beach or growing food, something that's like nature. Okay, because I believe that impacts your digestive system. If you look at something nice and positive, you digest better. Generator in a box. Okay. I think the country's going to file for bankruptcy soon, maybe in a month or two. You know what? Are we talking about the U.S.? I personally don't think so. I don't think they will. Because all countries right now are kind of doing the exact same thing. So I think there's going to be some sort of, as they keep highlighting, if you guys know this, I'm going to have to be careful maybe with what I say, the way I say it. Let's call it the world order that is new. You know what I'm talking about here? You saw out of Australia, they were talking about it and so on. This right now comes with a big warning label. Have you seen this? Warning label on the videos and the tweets and so on if you mention that term. And we've been talking about that for years. I had done many videos about it, and then that's where the suppression came on my channel. But anyway, which I can't get out of. But I think that people should be aware of what's happening. Okay, we're going to go into a new monetary system, a new system entirely, and this is going to involve many different countries, perhaps every country or most countries anyway, and that could be a revaluation of the currencies, and I do believe that the central bank digital currencies will play a role in that. That's the way I see it. So there might be some sort of just, okay, this is a huge event, Does that everybody is in debt and so on? Like what happens with Europe? The way that Europe, I think, is the model, the EU, whereby there's this top-down organization and they decide how much debt each country can have, their deficit spending, all this. They control it all. Hey, you got your freedom. No, no, don't worry, don't worry. But yeah, we're just going to dictate to you and what you can and cannot do. Timothy, again, thank you for the support. A lot of people in Texas will see major jumps in property taxes due to bidding wars and government adjusting values up. There could be a major housing crisis in the state and other popular places. There's no doubt. I mean, for sure, property taxes. For sure, property taxes are going up. And look, we've already seen it. We've already seen it. The government has, just about every government, local all the way up to federal, in everywhere, every country, has basically said the same thing. We spent a lot of money from 2020 and beyond, and now we have to increase taxes. Straight up. What does that mean, though? What taxes are we talking about? Oh, it could be the property taxes. It could be income taxes. Could be the corporate tax. You're seeing all of that. And if you have been watching, it's all of them. It's all of them. That's what they're doing. They're trying to do the tax per every mile driven. They're trying to do the income taxes, the corporate taxes. Everything's coming up. So I would not be surprised about anything. So don't forget, 244 people in the house right now. Hit that thumbs up button. Wait, where is it? Right down here. Let me help you with that. Let me help you. Hit that like button to support the channel. Okay. Janet Yellen needs a new pair of shoes. I got to get that for her. Hit that like button to support the channel. They can open an amusement park next to your house in Texas because there's no zoning laws. Yeah, I have heard about that. You can get kind of funky things happening on the streets because, hey, everybody's got the freedom to do whatever they want. I don't know how it seems to be functional. So, Kirk, thank you for the supports. Appreciate that. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all for your support. A strong drink, water. Water's all I drink. Just water for me. Yeah, Australia is dealing with some serious stuff. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on and what's happening there. People in Australia can probably comment. If you're in Australia right now, I know I have many subscribers from there. Put your comments in here. Let us know what's going on. I mean, it's been the longest lockdown as far as I'm aware. I was pointing to the flag. Oh, the flag button? All right. Yeah. You got to watch with that one. Unless you live in the country or have a very large greenhouse, consider buying a year's supply of canned fruits and vegetables instead of braving a garden. Gardens are fraught with ways to fail. I would say have both. Have both. The number one, so beyond the having a garden to feed yourself, in my opinion, the reason to have a garden is because of the health aspect of it. That's the number one reason. The number two reason is the fact that you have some food in your backyard and, hey, that's what our grandparents used to do and it made a lot of sense for them. Different story. The health aspect of it is in my opinion, the primary. Thank you for support. I do agree. No doubt. I mean, they're going in this direction of more control. More control. Governments always take more and more control. As they age, more and more control, and then eventually you have a grand collapse. Thank you for the support, Dominic. Just curious if your family asked your opinion on the stock market economy or did it ostracize you? Yeah, everybody that I know, doesn't talk to me about it. That's it. They don't talk to me about it. They don't ask. They don't say anything. Because I think they know. Like, if you know my story, partly the reason why I wrote my first book was because out of kind of frustration, in a sense, where I'm telling people that I know, like, you got to understand this Federal Reserve. Oh wow, look at this. It's crazy. The stock market, they print the money and then this and that, and then it's just falling on deaf ears. And I thought to myself, okay, if I write a book and make this really concise, I can convince them, and also I can convince other people to understand the failures of governments throughout time. So we look back all the way to the great inflation of Athens, all the way through, and see how the monetary system has changed and where we're going. And I made a pretty convincing argument for, it was my first book that I ever wrote. I think I did a decent job at that, at what I wanted to achieve. It certainly could be better. But I think I did a good job at that, and there was just not, it was like crickets. So now I'm happy that in doing so, then I went on YouTube, I found the audience on YouTube, I found people that are actually interested in the truth, and that's awesome. So I'm happy about that. But my initial kind of like, hopefully people that I know will benefit from the information, and they didn't. They didn't. There was a couple people, but generally no. Big Bang Theory. Nice. Edible and medicinal plants of Canada. That's good. There's so many books about that, and you can identify these plants that are just growing on the side of the road. They're there. And it's not like, you got to live in a tropical environment to find food. Food is everywhere. Okay. Okay. You can't collect the seeds and replant canned vegetables, but they have their place. Yeah, I agree with that. Like each thing has its benefits. It's nice if you had the freeze dried stuff, the 25-year stuff. Do you want to be eating it? Maybe not. Maybe you don't, right? But you just put it in a storage area, cool, dry place. It sits there like insurance, and if you ever do need it, you got it there. Even a few $100s worth, you're going to be better off than all the people that live around you. There's no doubt about it. Plus, you got the garden. Plus, you got extra, like the most simple thing. The one I have this PDF that I'm writing right now. One of the things that I want to highlight there is essentially, if you eat rice and you always buy one bag of rice, and when the rice is starting to go down, you're getting to near the bottom, you buy another big bag of rice. Why not have, if you can, have 4 bags of rice? Why? You get it on sale. As soon as you see it on sale, which, everything's becoming more expensive. But the point is, you get it at a cheap price and you buy more of it. Now, there might be some problems with that. If you keep it too long, is it going to go bad? If, it has to be stored in a cool, dry place, all this. But if you can make it happen, why not? Why not? By the end of September, are we going to be better or worse in the stock market? Good question. I have no idea. It's a volatile month. I've been talking about this for a long time. Watch out for September. I've been talking about this before the summer. I said, watch out for September. We got some serious volatility right now. I highlighted a few things, such as Jackson Hole. It's their important event, but ultimately, we haven't got any news about their actual activities yet and what the Federal Reserve is going to change. The assumption here is that we're going to be notified in the coming days at the FOMC meeting of the Federal Reserve that they're going to start a taper. That taper may begin as early as October. Some people say December. Who knows? But all we know right now is that the Federal Reserve is doing something very different than what they were before. Okay, that I think is the biggest news. Okay, so September has a lot of different events in it, but I think the FOMC meeting being the number one. If you want to know what I'm watching, what I'm waiting for, that's it. And obviously, stay tuned to the channel. I will cover it for you in detail. All right. Okay, potatoes. People are saying potatoes and all kinds of stuff. Good stuff. The sellers of survival foods also sell heirloom seeds for a variety of geographies. Just yeah, I agree. So the semiconductors, obviously, in a long-term trend, you got to know semiconductors, they're in everything. They're going to be in everywhere, more so than ever before in the coming years. That's unquestionable. But you look at what has happened over the last little while, how they say the shortages, how bad the shortages are, and how they can persist into the future. You know, I'm seeing many reports about into 2022 where they're going to have problems. That's going to hurt their bottom line, supposedly. So that would be an issue. Now, 5 years down the road, assuming there's even some sort of crisis or correction in the markets and things come down, they come back up. You know, long term, you need those semiconductors for all these different cars, for the cell phones, for the computers, for everything. It's in everything. Because there's more and more demand, you see that they need to not necessarily just create things for the fun of it, but they're doing so because your dishwasher has a chip in it and your stove has Wi-Fi for some reason, and all these different things. So that is obviously very bullish for the industry as a whole. But if you enter into a place where you've got some major deflation, that's going to impact them. So semiconductors are going to feel it before the other industries do. So I would watch them. Should we make our own chips at home? Yes. Potato. You can make your own potato chips at home. They won't taper fast forward, it'll be expanded greatly. David, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there, but I would say that people don't think that they'll taper because they say, well, then the market's going to come down. So day one, they taper, the market's not going to fall. Maybe on that day it might not perform poorly, but what I'm saying is it doesn't impact the market immediately. They're not reducing their balance sheet yet. We are not at that point. We're talking about, instead of printing $120 billion a month, they might print $110 billion a month. They're still expanding their balance sheets. Just the pace at which they are expanding is going to slow down a super small amount. The interest rates are going to stay at rock bottom. The market has been expecting this for many months, and in fact, many are encouraging them to do this, which would give the market ease initially. Thank you for the support, Alex. Thank you. Yeah, retail. So I've heard, and I don't know if anybody has heard about this as well, that in the stores, they already have Christmas decorations and Christmas products on the store shelves now. And there's, you can hypothesize why this is the case. But I was thinking about, number one, if the store feels that they're going to get locked out, or people are going to get locked out of their stores, they're offering those products now. But at the same time, we've seen how many container ships are sitting off, the cargo ships are sitting off the ports just waiting. They're waiting to get in at LA Long Beach. They're waiting to get all these other places. There's a traffic jam, there's a log jam, not enough this, not enough that. Now, what if a lot of that future demand from these businesses has been pulled into the present? What if they pulled that into the present? So we are seeing sort of not artificial demand, but next year or fourth quarter demand was pulled into the third quarter. And so instead of it going up, it kind of just going to go like sideways like this, where normally up into Q4 things would just be rocketing higher. Instead, you just kind of we've gotten to a point and it just kind of goes across, or even down perhaps, who knows, but never really just goes to that peak. And I wonder if totally all the different countries have kind of done this same thing. You let me know what you think, but we'll see. Only time will tell. All right. A lot of comments coming through. Is it possible to make certain types of semiconductors at home with minimal equipment and knowledge? No. Well, no. Probably no, because the things that they are creating are like on a microscopic level. They're on a microscopic level. There's nothing that we can do in that respect. You can make certain things at home, but the last thing I think we need is a semiconductor. We need food. We need food and water. Those two things are going to become very valuable. Seeds, food, water, and I believe energy, some sort of energy. Whether that's a backup energy, you're using natural gas, people use diesel generators, or you've got some sort of battery power even. The only problem with the battery power is if that's connected to the grid, and then you have an EMP, which everybody keeps talking about, or you've got some sort of electrical grid problem, I wonder if that would impact. I don't know how it works if you shut off your, if it's not operating at that moment, does it still affect you? And of course it may, I'm not sure. Depends maybe on how that is wired in your house. Look at the natural gas. It's almost $5. I cannot find a reason the Fed's not going to taper to stop this crazy inflation. Yeah, I mean, look at Russia. Look at Brazil. Look at these countries that say, we've got way too much inflation and we are trying to stop it. We are trying to slow it down. The Federal Reserve, on the other hand, saying, inflation's transitory, man. What are you talking about? Like, it's the complete opposite situation. Like, just not refusing to acknowledge it. And yeah, we'll see. Another lockdown's coming. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Some places. Could be in some places. We'll see. All right. All right, Mr. K-Man's in the house. Mr. K-Man. Good stuff. Do you want some good beach views? Check out Mr. K-Man vlogs. Glad you're here, sir. All right. I worked at an IBM semiconductor research and development fab when I was 20. Nice. Awesome. If you've got any inside information you want to share, please post it there. I'm sure there's some cool stuff. Gold to rip. Well, I always say about gold, when all else fails, then they turn to gold. And it's a simple matter of, investors don't like gold. Like your typical institutional investor absolutely hates gold. But when they start to get to oh my God, everything is going to go crazy now, then they just rush to it. And it doesn't take much. Like portfolios don't need to go 100% gold for the price to skyrocket, really. Just a simple change of, let's add some gold to our portfolio. If a lot of these institutions start doing that, you start to have some major run-ups in the price. Kirk, so I can't give financial advice, but I'll say this. Clearly, there's a lot of volatility in the markets looking scary. What percentage of cash do you recommend for a portfolio? I'm currently 40% cash. That's a lot of cash. I'll tell you right now, that's a lot of cash. Some people sold, went right to cash. It's difficult because especially right now with so much inflation, you don't know where to allocate your capital. You're just like, things are crazy, things are overvalued. And then you think to yourself, well, if I'm in cash, I'm safe. But you know that that's eating away at you underneath. Like I said, I'm unable to give financial advice. I don't see a problem with cash in general. But what like Warren Buffett does and what all these big institutions do, they buy short-term US debt because it's guaranteed. And now you're getting, whatever the return is, not much. But it's still better than, in terms of an investment, it's still better than nothing, essentially. Your savings account gives basically nothing. So, I don't know what the rest of the portfolio looks like. If you're just talking money market, like is it money market? Is it actual cash in the bank? But, I talk about this all the time. Business, like you have no idea the benefits of owning business. And online businesses today, you can store your capital in this business. And I use the example because I'm aware of it, is the selling on Amazon. You could sell products that people need in hard times, and those products might be available for sale in the United States, in Canada, in Mexico, in Germany, in the UK, in Australia, and you've got them all different. So if you start to have people that can't afford your product in the USA, maybe they could afford it in the UK, maybe they could afford it in Australia or what have you. So you diversify geographically where your income sources are coming from. And I know that for a lot of people, the business thing is like, I don't want to touch it. I just want to buy. I'm in the middle, by the way, I'm in the middle of an audiobook right now, and it's a very mainstream mainstream book. It's called something like, I don't know, The Simplest Guide to Investing or something. I'm trying to just look at the mainstream stuff because I need to see what they're saying, because that's where most of the attention's going. So I'm struggling through it, but really struggling through it, to be quite honest with you. And they're talking about simply just ride the wave, put all your money in, and everything's going to be okay long term. These are the returns. I love how they say the returns. If you put $1,000 into the S&P 500 50 years ago, and you sold it today, it would be worth this much. And of course, that doesn't happen like that. You don't put your money in 50 years ago and then you just never touch it for 50 years, and then you sell it the exact day, and that it's the very bottom of the market when you put your money in, the absolute lowest day and then the absolute highest day. They always use these weird project, and then they talk about if there was a crash, like after the financial crisis, it was hilarious. All these financial analysts, they refused to show you like a 1-year time frame or a 2-year time frame. They would always stretch it. 5 year, yeah, over the 5 years it's done all right, but over the 10-year, it's done well. So 20 years done well. So where people are putting their money today, the reason I talked about this was the guy in the book is basically saying, if you want to do well, you invest in good businesses The businesses will take care of you. But let's be honest. You don't know what's going to happen with these businesses. You assume Apple's going to be there tomorrow and next year and the year after. But you don't know. And most importantly, you don't have any control. Like, look at what happened with Apple today. The news just came out that now all these companies don't need to go through Apple to give them any money for the in-app purchases. So a potential huge chunk of Apple's revenue, the way it's coming in, may not be there over the coming months. But they say, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Nothing's going to happen. Now, will the small creators change anything? No, probably not, because it's just so easy. Click a couple buttons and make that happen. But if you're a big company and you are making millions and millions of dollars from your in-app purchases, you could potentially be regaining 15, 20% of that revenue. Are you going to do it? Oh, absolutely. So this is going to hit Apple. So the point I'm trying to make here is that when you have your own business, you can then dictate what happens to a certain degree, whichever platform you are working with, or rules and regulations and so on. That's a whole different story. But the point is, you as an individual have more say in what happens. And that's why I believe some of people's capital should be their own business. It's what I call the fourth asset class. Thank you, Paul, for the support, and I love that quote. Love that quote. Be careful with Apple. People aren't. Yeah, we never know what's going to happen, right? That's the whole point. Buy meme stocks and hedge against the stock market crash. They have negative beta numbers. That would basically be a hedge. Yeah, this has been the thing passed around on Reddit. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. I really don't. Thank you. Absolutely. Silver, best buy of all time, half the all-time high. Silver is probably the most look around. What is lower than it was previously? I mean, there's anything. You go to the store, you go to buy bread, you go to buy bananas, you go to whatever it is, your electricity, how many things are lower than they were before? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that doesn't even adjust for inflation. Too late to buy Amazon unless you're a billionaire, but it's still too late for them too. You have to go low, sell high, like Dogecoin and Bitcoin. So what people say is, you don't have to buy low, sell high. You can buy high and sell higher. That's the mentality. Whether or not that's going to work out for them, we'll see. The best value stocks. So I can't give financial advice, but there's many channels out there who do. So you can check them out. Lots of different channels that will give you which stocks to buy. They read the tickers for you and so on. So lots of channels, and they've been doing well. Your thoughts on uranium? If you check out my video that I did yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Talked about maybe the day before. I talked about uranium in the second half of the video, if I'm not mistaken, and you would definitely want to check that out. But basically, huge inflows going into uranium. Susan, thank you very much for the support. As always, I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lots of love from all over the world today. An hour and 9 minutes into the show. We got, 248 people in the house. If you got any questions, please let me know. Always here to respond to your questions. I try to get to as many as I can. Difficult sometimes. There's so many comments coming through as you can see, but I try to get to as many as I can. I will try to be here tomorrow night. As always, I'll go for a little bit longer, maybe 10 minutes or so. So ask any questions. Today, I have several tabs open right now. I'm not 100% sure what the final topic will be for the day. I've been covering the Federal Reserve and what they've been up to. I just think it's crazy because, you know, is it too coincidental that, you know, right as the Kaplan and Rosengren had to sell, that is the absolute peak of the market? Yeah, it's probably too coincidental, but, you know, anywhere near the top, that would be fantastic for them. Because you got to remember, like, but they're not the only ones. I should note that as well. Like Tim Cook got his compensation, and it was I covered it on the channel, something like what 300 million or something, like some huge number, and the next day he sold it, and that was a huge chunk, by the way. $300 million of his portfolio, sorry, $300 million in the stock, and it was, I forget, let's say 30 or 40% of his position. So he's selling a huge chunk. So he thinks whatever he's buying with it, he thinks that the money is better not in the stock than in the stock. You know, if he thought that 300 million was going to be 600 million next year, let's just say, he'd probably keep it in there, right? I mean, he knows better than anybody, probably within the company at least, about what's going to happen with the stock. So you tell me, when you see a guy like that selling $300 million worth, knowing the foresight, yeah, maybe, okay, so maybe he's going to buy himself a house. Maybe he's going to buy himself a yacht. Maybe he's going to buy himself, you know, this and that, whatever. I'm sure he's getting free Apple stuff, so he doesn't need to buy that. But it's $300 million. Now, maybe he wants to take that and he wants to invest a private investment in some company, a startup, or what have you, you know? Who knows? But it just shows you something's going on. Something's going on. Insider sales picking up, the activity is picking up, and it's specifics, not all of them. But when you see like Tim Cook selling off so much, Rosengren and Kaplan, they didn't have to, like, there's no difference in them selling and not selling. Let's be honest. There's no difference. It's not even, like, what are they doing? They've made it clear. We are going to buy the corporate bonds. You see which companies they're bailing out. They're bailing out Apple. They're bailing out, like, every big company. Okay. BlackRock says, we're just going to copy what the Federal Reserve is doing. Like, all that information is public. Did Kaplan receive some secret information that made him decide that he was going to buy Apple? No, he's doing it on the same as everybody else. Now, is he privy to some information we're not? 100%. But even if you relate to the party on that, I mean, like, it doesn't matter, really. Really doesn't matter. So I think for most people, we just look at it on that level. What are they doing exactly? Something's going on. Something is going on. That's all I'm saying. Probably taking the cash and converting it to bullion. I'm not sure. Like, the people who advise these wealthy people never tells them to buy gold. It's so rare. It's so rare. They're more likely to buy farmland and real estate. Not that I'm saying gold's not the right way to go. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that because of the financial industry and the way it's built, they're taught to hate gold. Paul, thank you. So I gotta watch what I say here. I don't think it's gonna have any negative impact, personally. I see very, very minimal negative impact. Just because so many people are going for it anyway. So I don't think so. That's just me. And also, it's not being forced in many of those cases. You can have a test instead. It's kind of annoying, I guess. But anyway, I just think as long as the programs are there for people, the social assistance programs and so on, I just think people would just take what they can get. Hey, if they're gonna fire me, that's fine. They get fired and they pick up the government stimulus. If they have children, they get a nice big cash bailout. I thought Tim Cook sold stock to cover taxes on stock option exercising, or maybe it was related to a possible covered adverse. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what. You never know what's really going on anyway. Give me those bailouts. Like, think about how much money so yeah, the amount of money that they gave to Apple by buying their corporate bonds, it's a small number compared to all the money that they've printed. It's a small number, but it's still a big number. You see how much it's still big. Like, even if it's, let's say, $1 billion, and they've printed 7 trillion or whatever, it's still $1 billion, right? It's it's $1 billion going to a company that doesn't need it. Janet, baby, timing of Basel III. So I don't think so. There was this big talk about Basel III and what happened. I said it from the beginning. I said Basel III is like dry clean only. It's like dry clean only. What do people do with their dry clean only? They got some sort of shirt that they bought. Maybe it was a gift or something. It says dry clean only on it. Let me put it in the wash. I'll hang it up after. And then it's fine. Okay, like that's kind of the way I see it. It's like a recommendation. That's just a matter of fact. So, but who knows? Who really knows? I don't see anything yet. So they're saying, well, it's going to come later, third quarter, fourth quarter, next year, it's the year after. What? Who knows? These, like, financial institutions, central banks, supranational entities, they all don't care. If you have, they would step on your head if they could. Okay? They don't care. Government shutdown next month. As of right now, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Whether or not they will depend on if things start to pick up more. Like, if I go and check the, let's see. Maybe I could just show you this. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it together. Cool. We're here. Hope you can see that. All right. So what do we got here? It's taking a long time to load. So I'm clicking on US. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I see. I didn't realize this. So they might be. They might actually in the US. Let me see. Canada's in a different circumstance. Yeah, see? It's a different situation. So I guess it depends on where you are. What about UK? So yeah, it's kind of not much going on. What about Australia? Did I miss it? There it is. Look at this. Huh. Strange. The entire country is locked down. Completely locked down. Like, crazy lockdown. And you get these numbers. Is anybody else kind of weirded out by that? What do you think? Like, isn't that weird? I just think it's really weird. Anyway, I don't know. The market has been down for a week straight. We need more stimulus money, or else this economy is stagnating and inflating at the same time, like 1977. Yes, they're gonna. I mean, come on. The market goes down by 2%. Everybody freaks out. The Federal Reserve comes in with a statement. Jerome Powell, don't worry. Oh, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there to protect you. We're gonna hold your hand. Who knows? All right. Fannie Mae stock on the 1 year or the 5 year chart is bad, May. Yeah, well, I mean, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, I mean, it doesn't get worse. It doesn't get worse. Really? Was there a super chat here? Oh, that's, yeah, okay. Lot of comments, my goodness. In all actuality, we are the store of value. Money, our abilities, efforts, and creativity. Fiat is just a representation of innate value of a nation's people. I agree. I agree with that. Absolutely. Appreciate you being here. This kind of information, hey, it's not for everybody, right? You could be watching sports, you could be watching comedy shows or whatever, but you're here watching the GPS in front of the Federal Reserve, making sure to bring you the information you need to know. We got 230 people in the house live right now. Hit that thumbs up button. I'm going to stay just a couple more minutes, answer the last question. We've had 4,500 people come in, so thank you all for that. I'm going to try to bring out a real cool video. Stay tuned for, if anybody can let me know right now, actually, I've shown it a couple times anyway. The PDFs at the end of the video that I've been sort of highlighting or covered one time, where I get into the tips. Obviously, I'm going to be taking from people what content you want to see, but I want every video to end in action steps, tips, suggestions, strategies, whatever that's in relation to the video. So if it's debt, how to get out of debt. If the video is about the stock market, here's some tips, strategies on the stock market. Without giving financial advice, might be a little difficult. If it's about the economy, do this, this, and this. If it's about, I don't know, making money, this, and this. So like each video gathers the news, but then at the end of it, it ends with that type of strategy and tips and so on. Let me know if you found that interesting. If you like that, I'm planning on doing it, but I just want to mold it and make sure that it's tailored to the subscribers, okay? Because there's nobody out there, no channel out there that tailors their stuff to the subscribers. I see the channels all the time. Not a single comment from the creator. Not a single comment. And then there's the other ones where there's like 1,000 comments for each one, and you know that's just a VA. That's somebody in the Philippines replying to people for that, and that's not the way to go. Okay, you gotta be honest about that. Thank you for the support. I look forward to the market crashing because it will show people the fake economy and will expose the Federal Reserve and all the fake money. I hope so, and I hope it's not something like a 2020, because that made people love the Federal Reserve even more, because the Federal Reserve came in, they printed up even more money than they were already printing, and people said, I love the Fed. Why do you want the Fed to stop? You're crazy. No. But they don't understand. So we need a great collapse to happen. And, you know, bad at first, but long term it's good. A really good, solid collapse is actually going to help to, you know, build a great foundation from. Okay. All right. Great idea. Great idea. Keep up the good work. All right. Good stuff. Thank you. All right. When creators respond to a lot of comments on larger channels, the algo sometimes thinks it's comment spam. Could be, but I generally just don't see them replying. That's the point. But when you're a creator, your subscribers are supposed to be everything. Now, I've spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours replying and reading comments, and I think there's a lot of value in that. And I just don't. It's unfortunate when people they're just like, why am I going to reply to comments? I just go off and do whatever I want or whatever. But the subscribers are everything. Thank you. This feels worse than 1929. For reference, it took 25 years for the market to make it back to the level it was at in 1921. 1929, 100% I agree with you, but people don't know that. Well, this time is different. This time is different. But of course, it's never different. It's never really different. Okay, it goes through the same basic patterns, right? It's true. Thank you, Paul. The ancient sequoia trees even need a cleansing fire for their seeds to germinate. Nature knows what's up. Thanks for all you do. 100%, yeah. I call it, in my first book, I called it, I think it was my first book, the economic detox. Because it needs to have that cleanse. It needs to come out. We need that desperately now. But 2020 was nothing. It was nothing. Nothing happened. No companies went bankrupt. Nothing. It needs that. The market needs that. Yes, I can't speak on that subject, but all I will say is that people should have their liberty. That's all. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. I appreciate you being here today. I'm trying to see if there's any questions. Okay, good stuff. Thank you all. Thank you all. I'm going to take off an hour and a half into it. Thank you for being here. Check out the video. If you haven't seen today's video, highly recommend it because we're talking about what the Federal Reserve has been doing, the selling. They've been selling off the members of the Fed. So we got one. Okay. How much? Thank you for the support, by the way, Chris. How much longer do you think the government, the Fed, can kick the can? So I look at it a little differently. I look at it as if they are actively trying to bring the prices up and down as they see fit. They design it because you've got all of the institutions, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, the Rothschild families, and so on. All of them are interconnected and being shareholders in these institutions, and they get indirect benefits as well because of how much assets they have in general. So I think they are the ones that create these crises and have ultimately created the boom bust cycle, which is not supposed to happen in the way it does, but certainly happens because of central bank activity. So how long it depends on what they want to do, but we are in the tightening cycle, which ultimately means that we are going to feel the impacts of this in the near future. Who knows? Who knows what that means in the long term, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Thank you all. I see your comments here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to take off. And definitely, if you haven't seen today's video, watch it. Highly, highly recommend it. And then, of course, as always, tomorrow morning, another video. So take care and see you next time.